Welcome back to AM Northwest. It took a serious bike accident to give our next guest a new perspective on life. He went from high-pressure government work to becoming a meditation teacher and a speaker, and now he started a quiet rebellion with his new book. Here to share more, we welcome the author of Sometimes You Should Be Late, Alex Snider. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Terry.
What a great idea. I love this idea. So we'll get to the book, but I want to hear about what your life was like before your bike accident, before everything changed.
Yeah, it was a perfectly good life. I was a high-performing student. I always put a lot of pressure on myself to do well in school. I studied hard, went to grad school, and worked in government for 15 years. And I really loved that work. And there was this constant pressure around it, the sense of I was never quite doing enough, that my colleagues were letting me down and needed to push them. I needed them to do more. And it was a good life, but it was a tense life. It was a stressful life.
Yeah. And then the day of your accident, were you in a hurry when you got into that accident? You were looking ahead instead of looking down.
Yeah, so I was biking, and actually I was going to a happy hour, and actually this is a little bit of a confession. You were talking about confessions earlier.
We like confessions.
There was a young lady that I was hoping to sort of connect with and flirt with.
Yeah.
And so I was getting off of work, and I was like biking there. I was like, I wanted to get there.
Yeah.
And I had a bike accident. And this is the most embarrassing thing. So I had a bike accident. I walked away through it. And I kept on going to the happy hour.
No.
Yeah.
Because you had a serious brain injury, like a concussion, right?
It was a delayed onset. So the next day I had this awful feeling in the middle of a meeting, and it happened to me. But even in that moment of like having this accident take place, I was still caught up in this rush of I need to get there. And I'm imagining people who are watching this show have their own moments of like, I kept on pushing, even though my body said, this is the time to slow down.
I feel like sometimes accidents happen to get your attention, right? And so this was a wake-up call for you.
Yeah.
So tell me about how this book came to be.
Well, it's interesting. You say that accidents happen to get your attention, but I've realized that only happens with our cooperation. If we're actually paying attention to these moments, and whether that's having a new child, losing your job, having something else disrupt your life. And so for me, in this moment where I was forced to slow down, I had to not look at my phone. I had to take time off work. And it was a moment where I had to say, this life that I'm living, where I'm always feeling like I'm not doing enough, when I'm feeling like I'm behind, when I'm rushing myself and rushing other people, is that the kind of life that I want to live? And I decided it wasn't. And I decided I wanted to bring these ideas of slowing down, of remembering why we're doing things, remembering the people that we rush by when we're in a hurry. That I wanted to bring that to government. And so that led me to start a group in government called Mindful Fed, which is all about bringing mindfulness, bringing this slowness, bringing this care to our work.
And so you were doing that while you were still working in the government, but then was it that you started writing articles for Psychology Today, and then that became your book?
Yeah. And
I love your book, by the way, because it's user-friendly, and there's a bunny rabbit and there's a sloth on every few pages, and they're kind of taking you through. It's kind of like a workbook.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the bunny rabbit and the sloth. I'm like, here's the thing. I am a grown-ass adult who's 40 years old who is wearing a T-shirt that says sloth-filled, not slothful. And the reason I'm doing this, and the reason that there's an inviting sloth on the cover is that this can be playful. Like, there's energy of caring for our family, of caring for our work, and that's a beautiful thing. These college students that were just on about like, we want to get to a good school, we want to do this work. It's great. And also there's this energy of the sloth that is about what is all this for, and is all this rushing really serving us? And are we forgetting what matters? And so that really this book isn't about slowness, it's about alignment. It's about, can the way that we're moving through time actually match our values?
Oh, nice. So for me, then it's relationships over other things. Like, I value my relationships more than anything else. So if I have an opportunity to spend more time, or my mom needs me for something, that might cause me to be late. So that would be the sometimes I should be late. If it's something that doesn't matter, like not having to get here to start the show, or not having to go do something that starts at the top of the hour, if I can be late because I'm spending more time helping my mom, that is a good reason to be late. Would you say that's accurate?
This book is not against speed, it's against unconscious speed.
Okay.
And so in that example, so in this book I say, I have no idea when you should be late.
Yeah.
But I think we all need to choose. Because there's a trade-off. And I want to call you out, Tammy, because before, in the green room, you are talking to people, you're getting to know their names, you know their story, you actually have a care. And some other TV hosts I've talked to have been like, all right, you're here, let's go, interview. And you're clearly making a choice to slow down, to get to know people, to be in conversation with people. And that matters.
Yeah.
And the story I have about you, Tammy, is you're making a conscious choice to say, this relationship, it matters just as much as are we hitting the right time to start the interview.
Yeah.
Is that true story?
Yes, true story. Thank you. Because I do value relationships over everything else. Like even when I travel, I just travel so I can be with people that live in the place I'm traveling to, you know? So I think that's just what drives me, but I know that's not the way for everything. So thank goodness we have your book. One thing that I've learned is this phrase. I listened to the Happier podcast, Gretchen Rubin and her sister, and their thing is go slow to go fast. So sometimes you slow down and you can actually get to where you're going on time if you're not rushing and making mistakes along the way.
Yeah, and it works in two different ways. One is, if you take the time to look at the destination on your Google Maps and make sure you're going to the right place,
Yeah.
you will get there faster than if you put in the wrong address.
Yes.
But there's actually something a little bit deeper that I think is worth talking about too. And it goes back to our previous segment with the college students, I guess 2 segments ago, where they were talking about like slowing down to find the right college.
Yeah.
The college that matches you and your fit.
Yeah.
Not the story of where you should go or where your parents want you to go.
Yeah.
And so when we slow down enough to say, is this thing actually aligned with my values? And I think about this a lot on vacations. When something comes up, there's a delay, there's traffic, can we slow down and say, do we need to change our plan? Do we need to actually say that reservation that we wanted to go to that's like happening in 10 minutes, we're going to be late?
Yeah.
Can we slow down enough to say, actually, is that going to cause lots of stress? Maybe we should just grab takeout. Maybe that's what we want.
I love that. And yes, your book is great. And you have an event tonight. It is Sometimes You Should Be Late is the book. Tonight at 7 at Daydreamer Coffee and Public House in North Portland. And we're going to have a link to that on our website at KATU.com. Sometimes You Should Be Late. Alex Snider, thank you so much.
Such a gift to be with you, Tammy.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be right back. Stay right there.